everybody, and welcome to warm-up for MotoGP here at the Jerez circuit. Well, here we go. It's a bright sunny day, quite a change from what we had yesterday, and that is very much a good thing as we kick off this afternoon's running. Let's hope we have an interesting session. It's about 1 hour to go until we go green for the Moto3 Grand Prix, and we welcome you up into the commentary box as well. And there goes the timing screen, as we knew it probably would have a little bit of a paddy. Things going well then, bright sunshine out here as well, beautiful conditions. 9 times out of 10 we're going to see a very interesting day of action. Let's check in there with TNT Sports as we get our timings back.
So yeah, it's just to allow you clear vision. It's weird because sometimes when you're in the race, you finish, you don't bother to pull the tire off, but it's just when you're thinking and you're consciously approaching the race, it's happened as much as I want to start the race with a clear visor, so you pull the tire off on the run to the grid, and it has been mandated that you're not allowed to drop one on the grid, and it hasn't happened since Australia a couple of years ago until this occasion. But yeah, the circumstances involved there with that happening are quite unfortunate for bsky, but unlikely to happen too often in bike racing. So yeah, the call to ban tear-offs, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think there's a good alternative to be able to wipe your visor in a race.
Yeah, or the roll-off system that you get in motocross, for example. It's just the practical.
Roll-off system in motocross isn't that popular. Riders don't like it in general. It does have prone to failure. You only really use that in really heavy mud conditions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have an aero issue more so on a road race helmet. So I can't see that system working. Yeah.
And often you'll see people actually sat in the garage and they'll have the helmet on and the visor up, and they won't. And there's a chance of people touching it in when they're sat in, and so it'll be when they then put their visor down to get on their bike, they'll realise that actually there's fingerprints or there's spokes and that, and you'll often see people just removing it as they get on their bike.
Yeah, quite often. I typically would have pulled one off in the garage, put it in the bin, so you see it more when you're not moving fast. You focus, obviously, and notice those specks of dirt and rubber and whatnot that is impeding your vision. But when you're on the bike, focusing on the race and the braking zone, unless you get a big splat, you don't really worry too much about removing a tear off in race trim.
Well, Marquez very much got lucky yesterday. They are already, we understand, changing the rules after he did crash down at the last corner and then proceeded to come into the pit lane. So it looks like he didn't break any rules because he didn't break any rules because, as we understand it, he came back across the pit lane entryway where he was supposed to, and he didn't cross the timing loop line. So Mark kind of got away with it a little bit more than he was supposed to, which it's cheeky. It's very cheeky. But we can accept that it kind of happens sometimes, and it would be just about okay on that front.
Anything to match Alex here for the race today?
This is the only dry running apart from the first 5 laps of the race yesterday that they've had since Friday. So, you know, any changes that they've made, it was all wet yesterday morning, so this is a chance to have a look at things.
It certainly does seem like a Ducati weekend, though. They've answered the critics or the questions that were levelled their way following the opening 3 rounds. Had Aprilia really stolen a march in Ducati? But it's fairly clear the answer is it's level taken at the moment.
Did we think that, though, in Brazil? Didn't we think that in the USA? You know, it wasn't, I know, obviously, the Jorge Martin won the sprint there, but, you know, you felt like there were mistakes. Obviously, Mark and the Gian Antonio, their collision, that kind of thing. You know, it felt like there were reasons for it.
And the opening round, the heat-treated tyres seem to be the huge reason there. But it's not gone Ducati's way. Not been plain sailing for anyone. For Pecco, likewise, he lucked into a podium in some ways yesterday. Was having a bit of a mare.
Running 17.
Yeah, struggling. And then all of a sudden, the timing for entering pit lane, it worked good for him, for Morbidelli following him. And actually, Brad Binder was the unfortunate party. He should have won the race, really. He went into the pits at the absolute correct time. He judged it best, and unfortunately, after his first flying lap with wet weather tyres, crashed in turn 2. So he done well to rebound and get 4th, but he should have been on the podium and actually should have really won the race overall.
wet, cold tyre, you feel, and that sounds strange. Obviously, you're out on a wet tyre in the rain, but you still need to activate them, don't you? And when they're sat in pit lane, waiting, they can't sit with the tyre warmer on for that last half a minute.
Yeah, exactly. When the riders are coming out of turn 9, 10, approaching the pit lane entrance, the crew will whip the warmers off, get the bike ready off the stands in case the rider comes down pit lane. So continually doing that, you're losing temperature, losing heat from the metal components as well, from the wheels, the discs, which obviously that transfers into the tyre. So yeah, you could see it caught a few of the riders out yesterday. Jack crashing immediately after leaving pit lane, Brad after his first lap. It was tricky to get things back up to temperature.
Ralph Fernandez was going well, wasn't he, at the time of the rain falling yesterday? So I don't know, I'm not completely convinced that the Aprilias in race trim, medium tyres in, aren't going to rise to the occasion today.
Yeah, I think over race distance today they will come forward. Ayakura had a bad start yesterday. Fernandez did, he done well in those first few corners, got himself forward a little bit and then pushed on well in the race. So yeah, could see a Fernandez push throughout the race. Could see a Martin, although he's got the penalty today, doesn't lose a full row though. And Bezecchi likewise with a good start, they will come forward.
So far so good then. Alex Marquez, he's top, 137.608. Marc Marquez in second, Bagnaia third, Ralph Fernandez fourth, Aldeguer in fifth, Bashi goes in sixth position, Fabio Di Giannantonio in seventh, Martin eighth, Razgat the early ninth, Diego Moreira has the top 10, Miller from 11th, Quadraro, Acosta, Marini, Binder at the top 15. Riders are setting very much red sector times across the board. Over the line now comes Marc Marquez as my TV pictures go off at a weird moment. Did Marc improve? Yes, he did. So did Bassini. Alex also was able to stay in contention on that front. So there was a little bit of an improvement. Here comes Raul over the line and goes second, 137.354. So Raul Fernandez does improve on the overall times. And Marc now, red sector 2. And moving up, Fermin Aldeguer goes into 4th place now as well.
Weekend, he wanted to spend a day on them. Now, parts or electronics, I don't know. He didn't say that parts as such. He said the bits.
Okay. Yeah, always difficult to decipher because a lot of the work is done on the electronic side, which is throttle mapping, anti-wheelie, the first touch of the throttle, traction control, engine brake, deceleration. There's so, well, the input channels they've got and the myriad of options that how they can use those channels to write the strategies. It could be development on that side, it could be aero, it could be little parts internally and chassis even. Yeah, nothing you can do with the engine, those are sealed, but there's a lot of on the periphery that you can't play with in mid-season development.
Mark is on another fast lap to Giannantonio there, but if we look at how the grid lines up today, you know, you've got Marco Bezecchi there on the second row. Jorge Martin's back to 10th. Made a lightning start, didn't he, again yesterday? He was cleared by the fact that Bez had spun up on the tear-off, and that gave him a run, didn't it?
Yeah, that tear-off was actually from Alex Marquez.
He might be a good starter, but that's going to compromise him. You want speed, the front 2 rows, don't you, if you want to have a chance?
Yeah, certainly. Row 4 here. Going to be tough for Martin without a lightning start, although we've seen him do it in the past, and a clean run to turn 1 for him. If he can jump a row at least, he's within reach still.
And what Johan Zarco showed us, he was a blocker in those early laps. He really helped Marc Marquez pull away.
Yeah, he was fighting for track position all the time and not prepared to let someone go through just because they've got more pace.
Did nothing wrong.
No,
he was brilliant. He rode superbly. Did Johan Zarco. And other riders were saying it's clear he hasn't got what we've got, or he's not as strong.
Although I would say for the medium tyre today, I think he will have. I think at the soft, he didn't sound that confident heading into the sprint race. Felt medium rubber suited his package and set up better. I don't think it'll be such a case of him blocking today. I think he will be able to fight it out tooth and nail to hold on to those positions for a lot longer.
Just a reminder as well, there was another penalty handed out yesterday, or another couple actually. Frankie Morbidelli got one for riding around with smoke coming out of his bike for France. 5 minutes missed there. Joan Mir ignored the meatball flag. he will have a double long lap penalty to serve. Top Rack will have a long
Top
lap
Rack's got
penalty
one as
for his
well.
move on Lorenzo Salvadori. I'm pleased to say he's out on the track after, well, he got
a huge whack for Salvadori yesterday, yeah.
The gravel trap, but good to see Salvadori back on track this morning. He's been fast this weekend as the Aprilia test rider. Arguably the better of the two when you
Flags
look at
out.
Augusto Fernandez here this weekend for Yamaha. Salvadori's looked good on the Aprilia all round.
I'm going to mention another name.
We're waiting on it, but the TV pictures have actually frozen on us. There we go. Oh, hello. I think that's a TNT problem. Alex Marquez then going fastest over the line, coming into it from Fabio Di Gianantonio in second, third for Marco Bezzecchi. Ralph Fernandez is fourth, Marc Marquez in fifth position, and Air Bashini sixth. Ohoi Martin in seventh, Ferdinand Daguerre from Fabio Quartararo, Pecco Bagnaia the top 10, Zarco Mia, Marini, Morbidelli coming through. And then we get further down Agura, Acosta, Razgatliolu, Morbidelli, Miller, Binder, Rins, Salvadori, and Augusto Fernandez right at the back of the field in 23rd position. That's the running order then at the end of the sessions, as we wonder what has happened to TNT Sports. I don't know if that's just a me problem. We're trying to find out with our backup systems appear in the commentary box. If that is the case, or if TNT's actually crashed. No, it's a me problem because it's fine on my side. So there's something wrong with that to try and fix now. Oh yeah, yes, I can't watch TV.
The initial grip and vibration that he gets from that grip goes away. The bike works. He can steer from the rear. He can make it work. Just pips. Alex just pips him at the top, but yeah, looking strong, both boys. The Marquez duo is on song today.
So 1 and 2 for the brothers. That's how it looked for much of the race yesterday until the rain fell. Alex starts as favourite perhaps, but a reminder, he's on the second row of the grid in fifth. Marco Bezzecchi ahead of him in fourth. Alongside him on that second row, Pedro Acosta, who actually has not looked good all weekend, but salvaged something in that qualifying session.
Well, there's your running order then for warm-up. We will be back for the Moto3 race in about an hour's time here on JB Sports Extra. See you later. Bye-bye.